is whatever organization they got, or even if they're just people that just was like, look, we're just gonna do this. You got friends, talk to them.
And I have been.
You know, the ones that are with it,
I end up fighting with them.
well, don't mess with them ones.
I know. I'm just trying to ignore them then.
You know,
and look for people that are like-minded.
That's right. The ones that aren't, let it be.
Yeah, because I can't. I mean,
because when the wash, yeah, everything comes out in the wash. If it keeps going the way it's going,
you're gonna see people are gonna be up or they're gonna be
either with us or against us. And
thank you. I appreciate your.
It's sad to say, you know.
I really do.
Absolutely.
This means so much to
Good luck.
everybody.
Thank you. Yes, you too.
My name is Kyra Wallace, and I have the privilege to serve as the president and CEO for the Southwestern Michigan Urban League, and we are so happy that you are here.
The camera on my backpack. No, I got another one in the backpack. It's in the biggest pocket.
Let me first begin by stating that this protest was fully organized and orchestrated by
the biggest pocket.
Why is that important for me to say? Well, because unfortunately, there was rhetoric that this was crafted with PD. Not so. What is true is that we spoke to them in person from the city as a courtesy. Don't get that misconstrued, a courtesy. Whether you agree with that tactic or not, what we know is that the changes we need to see in our community necessitate that they are willing to adhere to demands that we as Black residents have, which we will address later. We cannot move fast enough to embrace personal and collective change. As our young emerging leaders remind us, our inaction and intolerance have, which we will address later. We cannot move fast enough to embrace personal and collective change. As our young emerging leaders remind us, our inaction and intolerance are literally choking the promise of freedom, the essential essence that launched and guided us throughout our history. To that end, all Black people have ever asked for is to be seen and heard fully as human beings. We have repeatedly asked for our humanity, our pain, and our sorrow to be recognized. Our treatment and the subsequent response to that treatment is a clear sign that these calls have gone unanswered. We can't change what's in people's hearts, but we can certainly demand that their behaviors be changed, and that is what protests are all about. People want accountability for officers who can do better and choose not to in the Black community. We are beyond tired. When we say Black Lives Matters, right, we are not negating the fact that all lives matter. However, we are pointing to the fact that obviously there's a huge problem because of the need for us to even have to make that statement. At the end of the day, all lives can and won't matter until Black lives really matter. We are constantly being made to feel that we do not have the right victim. This one did that. This one did this. They said you are all were resisting arrest. We are never compliant enough or respectable enough to access justice in this country. Ending racism in America is not the responsibility of Black people. Yeah. What you are seeing is people who are tired of feeling powerless. If you want peace, you must use your power to access and guarantee justice, not just for you, but for all of us. We heard your critique of Colin Kaepernick as he peacefully kneeled, but we don't hear you loud enough when an officer kneels on the neck of George Floyd. Murdering him in broad daylight in the middle of a busy neighborhood. He called out for his mom, which pulled on every heartstring in my body. As a mom, I grieve for my black daughter and for my black stepson having to grow up in a world full of uncertainty and the lack of sanctity for human life. What would have been the story if there were no cameras? When we are accused, justice is swift. However, when we are victims, justice is nowhere to be found. In fact, when we are victims, the reaction is an abundance of caution. There are excuses, platitudes, and calls for us to be patient and to trust the process. But trust cannot be established until it is reciprocal. We cannot trust a process that was never meant for us. In the overwhelming majority of cases, whether we are the victim or the accused, black people are treated differently at every phase. This is not last on us. This is not lost on us, excuse me. While life moves on for so many people, we cannot forget. We do not have that luxury. As the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stated, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We want better. We deserve better. We demand better. Thank you. So we say to our neighbors, to the community we sit in, serve, and are proud to be a part of, you are justified in your anger. It is a righteous anger. Your pain and your protest requires no apology. At the same time, we cannot suffer more harm. We cannot inflict more pain. We cannot lose more lives. We don't want to see another family in tears. All of those who might walk the streets with us are not for us. They are not fighting the same fight, and they do not intend to see us succeed. Our fight must be strategic. Know that there are many, many ways to fight. Our freedom would not be won solely in the streets, but also at the ballot box, at policy hearings, around the boardroom table, and every other place where we show up. There are organizations around this community that need your voice and your energy. But you must be here, alive and healthy, to participate. We need you here. That's why we are here. No justice, no peace.
Round of applause for everybody that's here right now. You could have been on Facebook complaining, yet you're here taking action, and that's something I commend everybody for. Let me tell you a little bit about my thoughts and feelings on all this. At the age of 6, my biggest fear was the Klan coming after my family. In my mind, I could clearly see the vision of white robes on horseback, waiting with fire and ropes, waiting to string us along by our necks. At age 6. This was right around the time I had to have my first talk about race and why I was treated differently in class and why I would never be viewed as equal in the eyes of some of my peers. And now, at the age of 18, my biggest fear no longer has the traditional white robe of the cowardly Klan, but now wears a badge or a MAGA hat. And those nightmares, it's a racist hiding behind a gun or a title, and at the end of the barrel is my future son, my future husband, or any other black face I know or care about. Every tragedy we see on the news hits too close to home because it reminds us of ourselves, our loved ones, our friends, the friendly faces we see across town. Racism is a poison that has for too long has its vile grips on us by instilling fear and hatred in our hearts. Black people have had this same fight for hundreds of years. Thousands of days and nights we have looked into the face of oppression, and today we declare that it's not enough. Enough is enough. Our ancestors laid the blood, sweat, and tears of this movement. They paved the way, and for the new generation, I ask that we continue to carve out this way so that our children will have it better. I'm not saying systematic racism will be solved overnight. I'm saying that we need to strike while the iron is hot and we've captured the nation's attention. My heart goes out to the families of those who have been stolen from this earth by soulless beings hiding behind the notion of to protect and serve. That list is far too long to list every name, but trust me, we won't let anybody forget them. Their deaths won't be in vain. George Floyd's death won't be in vain. There's a purpose in us being here today. I can see in everybody's eyes that what we want, and I'm here to tell you this. I promise, Kyron Abe Herring promised to devote myself to the justice and restoration of my people. I promise to not stop working on equity until my soul passes on from this vessel of mine. There will be a day on this earth where we will no longer have to give our children a talk before leaving the house. There will be a day when there's no longer a target on our black men's back. There will be a day when we can all feel safe in our own community and be able to relish in the solidarity we have as a people, as a whole. And when that day comes, those who have participated, those who have done the work, who have came out to the front lines, we will have known that we were part of the solution and part of the right side of history. We are a part of the change. Thank you.
Everybody. No justice?
No peace!
No justice?
No peace!
This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice in it. I tell you, I had to call on the name of the Lord in a time like this.
Yes.
Can't believe we're here still. After all this time. My name is Lynn Ward Gray. I humbly serve as your city commissioner.
Yes.
And proud to do so. You look so beautiful. Thank you. And I'm so glad to see you out. I say their names. We say their names. George Floyd.
George Floyd.
Breonna Taylor.
Breonna Taylor.
Ahmaud Arbery.
Ahmaud Arbery.
Lives that should not have been lost. I'm getting in the shade so I can see. There we go. Hearing and seeing these horrible murders, abuse, and disregard for black and brown bodies, it can paralyze you. But I say, don't freeze. Move. Move. Don't freeze. Move. And we need to mobilize, y'all. Everybody that I see here, we need to mobilize. We need to be working together. again. But if they not, vote them out. Simple as that. That's how it works. Another M for mental health. This is difficult. What we're seeing cuts you to the core. And we need to be conscious of that. If you need help, seek help. Talk to people. Don't be isolated. Make sure that you're taking care of your physical being, your mental being at the same time. Organize, right? This is what we're doing. Organize. We take it to the streets. I'm NAACP to the core. So we organize. And we get it done. Vote. Vote. Like our lives depended on it because they did. Engage. Engage with one another. Call on your friends. Call on your neighbors. Make sure that they know what the issues are and to get out and make sure they spread that word. And elections matter. Elections matter. Now we're coming up on an election, not only here locally, state, as well as federal. And if we don't participate, we are going to see a lot of the same things we're seeing right now. And nobody wants that. And we have to have a seat at the table. The reason I got involved was because I wanted to help set policy. That's what we're talking about right now. There's policies in place that work against us. And if you don't have a seat at the table, you don't have a way to change those policies. So I'm saying Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 3, Ward 4, Ward 5. If you live in any of those areas, come see me if you want to run. Come see me. Because we need to get this done. We need to change the way things work, not only locally, but in our state and in our country. We're all hurting. I'm hurting. I've been trying to process this just like you. And all I can think about is how can we come together through policy to make a change. Now I am thankful for our local elected officials. I'm thankful for our leadership. We're all doing the best we can in the times that we are in. And we do need to work together. But I'm telling you right now, vote like your lives depend on it. And don't freeze. Move. Move.
Good afternoon, Battle Creek.
Good afternoon.
It's truly a pleasure to see all of you out there. I extend to you from Battle Creek Local and our national NAACP welcome. We have just experienced an indefensible murder of George Floyd. We tend to ask ourselves, are we supposed to be surprised? Are we supposed to be accepting? Are we expecting to see this to continue? I tell you that no, I'm not. I don't expect it to continue, nor do I expect that we ought to sit and do nothing regarding it. It strikes me strange when an event like this occurs people claim it was a mistake. And I keep asking myself, why is it that all of the mistakes happens to us? We can do better than this. It did not require it being in Minnesota that this young man was killed. And I call him a young man. He was only 40. It can happen here. Do not think at one moment that you are free of these kinds of activities. There are good and there are bad people in all walks of life. The principal duties and responsibility of the police is to serve the entirety of our community equally, but most importantly, protect the members of our community. Protection does not imply to me that you have a right to kill them. Protection does not imply to me that you have to treat them as second-class citizens. We must begin to say, thank you, but no thank you. Our lives have value. We need to begin to move in a direction and stop asking questions and start making demands. Now, you have to be realistic about it. You can't demand because you're black that you have to have all of the money in the country. But you can demand that you ought to be treated and given the same opportunity that everyone else has. That is a demand of liberty. We are realistic people. We understand the importance of following rules. We understand how to guide ourselves or navigate ourselves in life. That's not an issue. We have had a great deal of experience going around, under, and over barriers all of our lives. That's nothing new to us. What is new to us is that we thought this was going to stop. And it's just getting worse. That's new. And so we need to stand up and say, it's time that we revisit how this world is treating us. It's time that we revisit how we are treating the world. Because if we have no peace, I see that there should not be any peace for anyone. There is no peace for anyone if there is no peace for us. I tell you, this is Battle Creek. Battle Creek is a good city. We are founded and grounded with principles, morals, and ethics that guide us through our day. But at some point in time, we need to wake up and smell the roses. It is not as nice as we think. It is good. Now, I'll be the first to tell you again that there has been incidences throughout 20 of the cities in our country that has created havoc, riots, burning, killing. That isn't going to happen here. We know better, we are better, and we will do better. This is our city. We don't need outsiders coming here and telling us that we need to burn it down. When we leave and go on our way today, our goal is to begin to plan. Is begin to strategize. It's time for us to not continue to talk about what we're going to do. It's time for us to get out and do those things that need to be done. If there is only one goal that we have in Battle Creek, that is to make it a better Battle Creek for our families, particularly for our youth. We don't need the drama. We can do this. Now, I have no problem with us grieving, because I too grieve. George Floyd had no reason to be dead today. Okay. I have no problems with us protesting, because we need to protest. People don't hear us if we're silent. You need to be voiceful. You need to express your concern. You need to get out there and say, you know, this isn't right, and you knew that. Why is it that you're going to give us this line of garbage that this was a mistake, as all the rest of the murders has been a mistake? And everybody made mistakes because none of us are perfect. Quit making mistakes on me. Make your mistakes on Elvis. We're tiny. No more mistakes. I am proud to see so many people gathered here today, because it tells me that you care. It tells me that you're willing, ready, and able to start a new day in this old city and make it a new town, because we are moving in one direction today, in a direction that tells me that this is going to get better and not any worse. Now, when, and only when, we are prepared to say no more, they're going to continue to inflict these kinds of activities on you. There we go. So the important thing is no more. We do care. We're getting out there. We're getting out there today. We're going to be out there tomorrow, and we will be out there as long as it takes for us to make a difference. No more mistakes. No more mistakes.
Hey, can everybody hear me all right? Can you guys hear me all right? Yeah. Is anybody ready for a real change? Yeah. All right, so I just want to invite everyone after this to come to our farm, Sunlight Gardens, 245 North Kendall Street in the Washington Heights neighborhood. We're just going to be over there volunteering, you know, putting in our time, building our community, because something that we really need to do, standing with our brothers and sisters in solidarity is important, but something that we need to really do so that we don't have to deal with this bullshit anymore is take control of our resources. We need to be in control of our resources. We need to control our water, we need to control our energy, and we need to control our food. So this is just an invitation. It can start at Sunlight Gardens. Come and just bring whoever you want to bring, get your hands dirty, meet new people, and network a little bit. Thank you, I love you guys.
Hello, Battle Creek. I said hello, Battle Creek. Hello. That's right. I wrote a poem that I started in February, and it just was about the traits of the people who, you know, come to steal, kill, and destroy. And I'm old school, so I put it on paper. I should have put it. All right, traits, a distinguishing quality or characteristic typically belonging to a person. But in this day and age, like the plague, this behavior is now common and it's called racial discrimination, and it comes in many versions. An attribute handed down by their ancestors, of which they come to steal, kill, and destroy. Sliding into our schools, courthouses, police stations, of which they become employed. Changing good into bad by changing laws and polluting the world, including our legislation. Unscrupulously having or showing no moral principles, attacking our children with no hesitation. The destroyers of this nation. Taking on an appearance of that of a caring human being, an imposter. One who pretends to be someone else in order to deceive, with the privilege to be counterfeit, likely to be mistaken as something of high value allowed by this government. Exempt to be a disease, a disorder of structure or function. These actions are real, no bluffing. Missing children, blacks dying at an alarming rate. My feelings on this is disgusting. Patience The capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. Our ancestors did that, and for that era it worked, no regrets. Evolution is real, and it's evident times have changed. We will not sit idle by and bury our loved ones. That fact remains. Show no fear. That part has to be clear. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, life for a life. That part you rebuke, but it's in your Bible. Now that part's a fluke. So now we are all on this flight. Exposure is their kryptonite. Something that can seriously weaken or harm a particular person or thing, depicted as fiction. So how can it work on human beings? Exposure caused the eyes to recognize, so therefore we're willing to die for this country. Be willing to live for your children's future by fighting back with your community united. That's why they seek out our blacks while they're alone, knowing damn well all they possess is that phone. Fear is what's wrong. Peace is what we seek, to be left alone just because we, just like you, we want to make it home. So I'm here to make it known.
But now we have reached a tipping point in police brutality. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right.
We all know what happened to George Floyd was absolutely disgusting. But we also know that he was nowhere near the first. And we also know that if we don't get some tangible change now, he will not be the last. So the Code of Conduct for law enforcement officials says that they may only use force when strictly necessary and to the extent required for the performance of their duty. But for some reason, when it comes to black people, only when strictly necessary becomes always. And the force they need for the performance of their duty becomes deadly. How is it that police officers can peacefully arrest an armed mass shooter, but can't arrest an innocent black man without police force is the sixth largest killer of black men. The very people who put their hand on the Bible in their hearts and say, I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions, are the very same people killing our black men faster than car crashes, fires, and old age. I have a black dad, a black stepdad, a black goddad, a black granddad, black cousins, black uncles, and a black younger brother. And the only difference between them and George Floyd when he was murdered was their location. And that's a problem. My younger brother just celebrated his 11th birthday, and as beautiful as that is, I can't help but hope and pray that that one will not be his last. I pray every single day that he does not end up among the archives of black bodies that became hashtags. I pray every day that he lives to see his 20th and 30th and 40th birthdays, because that's what he deserves. I pray every single day that I live to see his 20th, 30th, and 40th birthdays, because I know me being a woman does not stop the bullet from killing me too. I also drive a car. And every time I get behind that wheel, I pray that if I get pulled over, I will be able to tell my mom when I get home. Because as a black person in the United States, the only alternative for me is her getting a call from the morgue. I am only 17 years old. And if God forbid I was in a situation where I needed the police, I don't even know if I would call it. Because would they protect and serve me the way that they are supposed to? Or would they protect and serve me the way they did George Floyd? I was raised to see the good and the beauty in every single person in this world. But why is it that police officers were not taught to see the good in me too? I am not a threat. My beautiful dark chocolate skin is not a threat. I will have to scream that from the rooftops for people to start believing it, but just know, I will keep screaming until you do. I, young, unapologetic, and black, is my ancestors' wildest dreams. And all of you, loud, proud, and fighting for equity, are my ancestors' wildest dreams too. Like I said before, if we don't see some tangible change, George Floyd will not be the last life lost to police brutality. And although it is a good start, firing, arresting, and convicting the officers who kill him will not remove the racist practices, policies, and government officials who enable their behavior. It will not remove the infrastructure that allows police officers to turn murder into paid administrative leave. We need to have black people in offices to influence public policies. In the boardrooms where decisions are being made on behalf of us without us there. In the courts where our people are not receiving justice. And every single one of us needs to be at the polls so they know that we are here and our voice matters. So now, while all of us are rightfully angry and hurt and sad, but also passionate and fueled and ready for change, we have to decide what we are going to do and take action. As Albert Einstein once said, the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them and do nothing.
Good people. When I woke up this morning, I went on Facebook and I seen a lot of people chanting one of the civil rights songs of the 50s, "We Shall Overcome." And I said to myself, I ain't singing.
That's right. Time came and gone.
No, we shall overcome. It's too late to shout. It's time to walk over and take over. No justice, no peace. I'm no longer asking nobody to invite me. I am an American. My ancestors were brought here by force. And I have a right to be here, and I have a right to demand a seat at the table. And from now on, it's time for each and every one of us to stop asking. It's time to start showing up. It starts by going to the polls, but that's just the start. We can no longer go to the polls and support Miss Lynn and her colleagues and show up every 2 to 4 years to make sure she gets in office. We must show up once a month, once a quarter, to show her that we support the policies that she is building on our behalf. It's time to come off the front porch and go in the yard and put up our dukes. We are inviting you to continue on this journey. This protest today is just the beginning. If you go home, share, like, and subscribe to protests across this nation, and you don't do nothing in Battle Creek, you just had a good time. And I would submit to you today that we don't need a protest to have a good time. We come here today to make change. We have come here today to gather our voices together in a unified front and to demand that our policies, our priorities, and our needs are woven through every part of this community. When the city commission, when the county commission meet, when the daily administrative staff meet, when nonprofit boards and organizations meet, we demand that they listen to our priorities and move on our behalf. So I invite you to the beginning of a movement. As they have shared before, we did have conversation with our city manager before we came here today. One, we wanted them to know that we mean business. We're not out here talking and spreading hot air. We're here to gather our voices together to make sure that when we sit at the tables, because believe me, I'm going to those tables. I'm going to those tables. I don't care if I have to Google, tap into somebody's email. No, I'm not doing that. But I want to know where the meetings are taking place. And we need to be at those meetings as allies, one toward another. So I invite you all. We have made our demands. But listen, we got to take you guys along with us. I like what Aunt Maxine said. They were saying, go Maxine. She said, no, you go. I don't want nobody hanging behind me talking about go ahead, LE. No, you go yourself and let me come along with you. This has got to be the beginning. And I invite each and every one of you you all follow our Facebook page, Southwestern Michigan Urban League, the African American Collaborative. We have other allies in the house. I saw Burma Center. Make some noise for them there in the house. I saw Voices. Courage is in the house. TRH is in the house. Black folks, white folks, brown folks, we are all in this house together. And we're taking a stand for our community. No justice, no peace. We're going to make some moves. We're going to make some moves. What did our city commissioner say? Don't freeze. Move. Don't freeze. Move. Join us, follow our Facebook page. Listen, when we announce this next meeting, we need 200 or 300 folks in that virtual meeting. We need to shut down the system. Now, we're not meeting in person just yet. But when we get together, we need that room filled, and we need strategies, and we need it outlined, because when we walk out of there, we're going to hold our city leadership accountable. No justice, no peace.
So we know that a lot of you came out because you support. You are all in. And we know that there's others who have things that they want to say. So at this point, we invite anyone who wants to speak to come down right now. We're not going to take too much time, but if you have something that you want to say, if you want to lend your voice, if you want to speak, please come down right now. We're allowing you this opportunity to do so. This is our community, and your voice matters just as much as any of ours who was already on the program. So if you would like to speak, come down right now. This is your opportunity. I will say, I have no problem with taking a mic if I have to, but let's just hope we don't have to. Just have to put that out there.
Hello, my name is Lowen Cantrell. My mom used to work for BCPD. Her name was Diane Cantrell. A lot of you might know her. My grandmother was Dorothy Cantrell. They died in a house fire a few years back. It's very sad. I bring this up to let you know who I am. To let you know that I've lived in this city my entire life. To let you know that I've gone through ups and downs with each and every one of you. Each and every one of you. I see too many people asleep. I see too many people that come out to these things and not actually do anything afterwards. So are we gonna stop? Are we actually gonna do something? Are we tired? Have we had enough? Do we want change? Then do something. Stop recording. Stop speaking only. Speak and do something. Action.
Very short thing to say, but I'm going to say it. I will not let our blackness be seen as a weapon or a weakness. Cops are supposed to be good people. They are supposed to help, but they don't. We need help. But we are going to use our strongness, and we are going to make this world a better place.
All right, it's good to see everybody today, man. I just wanted to come down here and say that, you know, I know y'all out here for, a lot of people out here for George Floyd and Aubrey and all that. But for the people who ain't here, it's not just about them. It's not just about the people y'all see on the news. It's not just about the people that they shed light on. We got people here that's been victims of police brutality. So y'all need to be down here for y'all people, where be somebody that you know that's being a victim of police brutality, then you're gonna want somebody to stand up for y'all. We're doing it now. So let's get out here, let's do it. No justice, no peace. We're gonna keep this thing going, and this can't just be one thing. We can't just be out here today. We gotta do this tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after. Black Lives Matter. We gotta do this thing for each other, because ain't nobody gonna do it for us. It's good to see all y'all out here today.
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Bianca Broughton. I'm a child of God first and foremost, but I'm also a black woman, and I'm tired. I'm hurt. I've seen so many. Okay, I don't even know where to start. I'm not a public speaker by any means, but this is a heart issue. This is a human race issue. We need to come together. There's not just black people here, there's white people here that are supporting us. Here's the thing, white people, y'all listen to me. You guys, they're not listening to us. They're listening to you. They're focusing on the small details. Oh, that they're making, not everybody, but some white people are making excuses. We need white people to talk to other white people and to inform them too. It's not just gonna be us. Brown people too, don't forget about them. You guys are in this together. This is a human race. The biggest thing that we can do is come together as a nation and be united under God. Because that's what this is founded. This is what it's founded under, right? It's under God. For liberty and justice for who? For who? Exactly. Every single person on this earth deserves to have equality. Diversity is beautiful. That's what makes America great. Right? Hold on. Don't get it twisted. What makes America great is diversity and the beauty, not what the president says. And I'm not throwing political views out there. I know some people are Trump supporters, and kudos to you and everything too. But I'm not going to stand by and allow somebody to openly be racist and then give people fuel to go and project that racism and make people feel confident and comfortable to be more racist as they are. That's not okay. I just want you guys to know that you are all loved under God. I don't know where you believe at all, but I just know at the end you're going to answer to Him. Then, and ultimately, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. He's going to take care of it. He's going to handle every single wrongdoing. All the justice will be served at the end of the day. You guys are all loved. I love you. I love you folks. You guys, I got one thing to say. If God is for us, who can be against us?
I have a question. When is this gonna stop? When is this gonna stop? They claim that all lives matter, all lives do matter, but when are we gonna matter? When are we gonna matter? All this stuff, don't wait till this one of your siblings that get shot or get killed to come out. We can come out now and be a community as one. Don't wait till this one of yours that get hurt, but we can stop this now. What are we gonna do? This is not 1940, 1930, we are in 2020, it's a new decade. What are we gonna do in this decade? Everybody matters. We all bleed the same blood. We just different skin colors. Don't let the skin color define you. At the end of the day, we are all human. We all breathe. We all look. We all smell. We are all the same. All lives matter. Everybody matters. But when are we going to matter?
No peace.
I just want to say that I'm letting this resonate with me right now in my spirit and how God has brought all of these people out. And we are just here in the moment, so just take this moment in and breathe in it. Although you can't breathe right now with all this going on, just sit in the moment. Enjoy that we are here peacefully. And we don't have that rigmarole that went on in the other states. That we're here because God put us here. And as an educator,